Hello everybody and welcome back to Shane's Squirrel Shack where we talk about autism awareness and all of that. And I want to thank you for tuning into today's video. Today we're going to be talking about some of the social quirks that creep out at me still as a high-functioning adult autistic. Man, tongue twister. So I'll say this, in the last 10 years I've made a lot of leaps and bounds in my social life. 10 years ago I was like the kid on the playground, he'd hide in the shadows, wouldn't talk to anyone, didn't know how to, and was just very quiet. Now I'm a social butterfly. I hang out with a lot of various different types of people and, different groups, and I'm very fortunate to be around people who have very different personalities and lifestyles. So I thank my rainbow of friends who I have at this moment. So even with that, my quirks still show up. In my social life, whether it might be my social work life for a little, moment of it. And I'll share that part real quick. Sometimes when I'm learning a task and I slightly misunderstand it, I want to say it would be a mistake, but nah, it's a misunderstanding. When I slightly misunderstand something, I get really blushy, I blush, I get really, yeah, that kind of just happened. Is this done yet? Yikes. So I go into that kind of mode, and it creeps up with customers too. If I misunderstand a request or like a, instruction, that same thing happens, and I just get like, guys, I want to hide. I want to gather my acorns and just kind of hide in a tree. Stop talking. I have way too much fun making these videos, and I love doing it. So, anyways, we're going to go on to, kind of my social life and my out-of-work life. And that has gotten a lot better. But there were times where I had a hard time being in crowds. Like, I started going to open mics and starting to perform live in the last year. I do a lot with music. I write stuff and all of that. So when I was first exposed to these new crowds of people, I was just like, how do I do this? And I was very like in the corner, just kind of like, I just want to play my set. I don't know really anybody here. I'm like, And as soon as I started putting myself in those crowds, that was almost therapy for me because I got used to knowing how to be in a crowd. I accepted that, hey, maybe I have an awkward moment. But it's those awkward moments that are going to build you so you have less of those in the future if you recognize that these moments are, in a sense, therapeutic. So you have to look at these awkward moments as therapy in a sense of, hey, I recognize an awkward moment. With some of these types of awkward moments, what can I do to recognize when I'm about to hit that and to limit it the next time? I don't think you'll be able to get rid of all of your social quirks. That's who you are, that's who I am, how I was wired, or you guys watching this. And all I say is love your quirks. Guys, please say that to yourselves if you're if you're feeling like you're having doubts of your personality and in a social situation. With that, going into social situations, one of the more out there kind of awkward things that I have experienced are handshakes. Now, there's a couple different kinds of handshakes I'm talking about. I'll talk about the first one, and that's in this COVID world right now. I'm filming this in May of 2021, so if you're watching this years from now, I hope that this video represents a different time and the past that this is done, man. I just hope that we're at a point with that in the future. But in the meanwhile, it's like, do I shake someone's hand when I'm meeting them? Like, are we good with that? Are we elbow bumping? Are we doing anything? What are we doing, man? Like, what are we doing? And so when I go into those situations, like not knowing the proper greeting, especially in this kind of environment right now, it's like, if I'm not doing anything, am I being cold and distant? Or am I being safe and sanitary? Like, what side of this spectrum are we on right now, guys? And it's like, what are we doing? And so another thing regarding handshaking is when I see my friends, when we meet up, we shake up, we're all like, yo, what's up? We're shaking up. And so sometimes I don't know which shake up we're doing because I feel like there's just so many. So either I do really good with it or I do god awful with it. And then I do, and it's just like, they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, man, I have no clue. No clue at all. And I smile it off. I say, you know what? I suck at these things, man. You know, I try and follow you. And when you smile at it and you love your quirk, people see that and they want to go along with the ride with you. If they see that you develop, you shy away from it, low self-esteem, you know, it's going to show more instead of someone who laughs and smiles at it and loves the quirk that they are experiencing at that moment. People want to see that. And when I started doing that, I noticed my social life started changing drastically. People loved my quirks along with me. And I learned that, you know, if they didn't love my quirks, they wouldn't have been around me. So I learned based off of that reception to love it even more. And I hate to say that I appreciated that validation. It helped me kind of get on the right track and how to approach these social situations that I have a hard time reading right off the bat. So it's really small things like that that, you know, kind of make it an obstacle for me. And I say that really loosely because it's really not. It's just a quirk that comes out at that moment. So that's where I'm at with that. And I hope this video helped you if you are, you know, doubtful of your quirks, if you are kind of, if you're ashamed of your quirks or just kind of like unconfident with it. This is me saying, please love your quirks. I will say that again in other videos. I will say it in this one. And I'm going to sign off. Love your quirks today. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.